And I think we're live. Hello, if I don't know if someone's here, probably not. If someone's here and is hiding, welcome to the Red Room. We're supposed to have guests today. We have one guest at least. How am I gonna call you? WhelanOkkult or?
Yep. Hello.
Okay. WhelanOkkult, yeah. By the way, let's start by that. Where does that come from? I don't think that's. Are you called?
Okay, so the story behind that is the first half of that name, Whelan, was an NPC character from a Vampire the Masquerade game I ran a long time ago. His name was Marcus Whelan. And he was kind of like a repeating NPC throughout my campaign. So I kind of like grew fond of him, of that character. And I adopted his last name. And then occult is because I like reading books on the occult. I like things that are like, secret, like secret societies and stuff like that. So I just combined the two and came up with that as my online tag.
Okay, so I've invited a couple of more people. I don't think one of them was the author of Tears of Belfgor, which is a scenario for Wretched Époque. I don't think he's coming because he didn't reply. The other person I invited, I think, he received the invitation. It's Joe Coombs, who also wrote several things for us. And yeah, he messaged me. What? He also wrote several things for the first edition Époque, namely the Beyond. The Beyond is a concept that Coombs started, so it would make sense if he appeared, and I think he's still going to show up, I guess. So let's talk a little bit, since he's not here, so we'll save talking about Wretched Époque for later. Let's start about you, since you are a guest here. We started talking recently, though we met on Twitter months ago, I think.
Yeah, it's been like I don't know. I want to say I started following you guys right around the time that you guys got taken off of drive-through, because I had heard about it on Twitter, and that's actually what kind of like led me to even know about the Red Room. And then from that point on, I've just been looking into your books and communicating with you and Sylvia, and yeah, I mean, you know the rest of the story.
After we started talking, we discovered that we have some. Our background in role-playing games is quite similar, and we had some.
Yeah, very much so.
So you started. I can't remember that part. Did you start with Dungeons and Dragons, or you started somewhere else?
Well, when I was young, as a kid, before getting into my teenage years, I had started playing the old Choose Your Own Adventure Dungeons and Dragons books and the Lone Wolf books. And then as I got older, I got the red box for D&D, and played D&D off and on with my friends back then. So this was like late 80s, early 90s. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Good.
We were thinking about the punctuality of the British.
Oh, I was having my tea and I've got people here.
But yeah, then around the early 90s, I got into high school, made a bunch of new friends, and they introduced me to Vampire the Masquerade. and from that point on, that's all pretty much all I played exclusively was anything White Wolf. Other than that, we played a lot of Cult and just a lot of like other kind of like obscure titles that you don't really hear about nowadays. But yeah, for the most part, it was Vampire and World of Darkness.
Joe knows about those.
What?
I bet Joe knows about those obscure games. He knows all.
I was just thinking, what are those obscure games?
Well, let's see. We played a lot of Cult. We played a lot of Slay Industries. We played a lot of. I remember my friends buying me this book. It was very little. It was like a pamphlet. I don't remember the name of the game, but it was very like H.R. Giger in style, in the art style, and you played as like these people in space. I just don't remember the name of the game, unfortunately.
Liam's the guy to ask about that.
But it was
He's
very
mad on those pamphlet games.
Yeah, it was really like a dark setting, very sci-fi, and very Giger, so. But yeah, it was just like a little pamphlet book.
Yeah, Liam would know that. I bet you. It wouldn't even surprise me if it wasn't for the Dimension. Oh, no. Writer X, I think he called himself.
Okay.
But he wrote a game called Violence that was like very, very short.
Oh, I remember.
Very tongue-in-cheek. Very fun game.
I never tried it.
Yeah, I'd have to see a cover of it to know if it's the one or not. Because I just remember it being very alien-esque, very, like I said, H.R. Giger, in terms of the art style. Let's see, what else did I play back in the day? Did you guys ever hear of a game called Witches?
That's past me.
Or no, it was called Witchcraft. It was called Witchcraft.
Witchcraft, yes, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
I played that.
I know it.
I played that a few times. I also played Innomine quite a bit.
I nearly bought that the other day. Very close to buying that the other day. That's GURPS, isn't it? Originally?
Yes. Yeah. And I played, one of my friends used to love running a game called Amber. It was a diceless game.
Yeah, know that as well. It's another Cinderella game. I think.
I played that one for a long time.
Is that Corella as
what?
Corella wrote that as well. Amber.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
I've got a feeling. I'll tell you, Pundit one because I've heard him talk about it because he likes Amber a lot. But it was definitely someone who works.
Eric Woodchick.
It's because they've all worked on the Palladium stuff. It's right. I was.
That's pretty much what I grew up on. Was all of those games. Mostly, like I said, Vampire the Masquerade and Cult. Those were our two big, long-running games. But yeah, so D&D only came into my life at the very beginning. And I forgot a very important one, at least for me, was Call of Cthulhu. Like,
yeah.
Call of Cthulhu was
that one is not obscure.
No, it's not. But it was a big one for me because at the time I had to have been like, I don't know, like 9, 10, 11 years old, somewhere in that range. And I had walked into a Walden Books at my local mall, and they had like one of those bargain bins, and sitting on top of the pile was a copy of Call of Cthulhu's Dreamlands module. Now, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I knew that it was Lovecraft because I had read Lovecraft by that point, but I didn't know that it was a game book, So I bought it and I was fascinated by it, and that's what got me into Call of Cthulhu.
That is my pride and
joy.
Oh,
Nice.
I absolutely adore that. I picked that up from a little shop it was in Scotland. I saw it online. So he had it in. I was like, I need that in my life.
Yeah, I've been wanting that.
I saved up penny. But I love, Carcosa is amazing. And I've got, do you remember that? That's our mate Grim Jim wrote that. He's been planning on doing a new edition. That is Blood. That came out in the early 90s, I think, and then he brought it back. The original cover is amazing. Artwork isn't bad on that, but the original artwork for that game was something else. It was like bits of Leatherface's face and stuff, and it was weird. That's all over the book cover and that. They're good, but this is just packed full of cool tables. Just flicking through, you've got like a whole load of awesome. If you're into, do you remember Iron Crown Enterprises back in
I'm
the
sorry,
day?
what game? I didn't
Roll
cut out.
Iron Crown Enterprises, ICE?
I'm not sure I know it.
Right, well, if they made a horror game, it would look like Blood. Because it's got all sorts in it. I'll just read a few out. The creature grabs your leg and pulls, threatening to throw you off balance. You are considered grappled, and the creature may continue to bite that. And it's just full of little like plots and hooks. And this is where I've got ideas what we've been designing, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot like go about stuff with the descriptions and just sort of go to town on it. Tables, what do you do tables for? And it's because it's like little plots. Clues players in and clues GMs in, and they've got something to narrate.
This one is obscure.
That's an obscure one.
This one is, I think this is a kind of a...
That's the expensive
inspired by cult. The author is also Swedish.
Okay.
And he also made this one. This one shouldn't be so obscure.
Yeah, I recognize that one. I actually thought about getting
game.
that when I saw it.
Yeah, this one is more famous, but it's not as good as the other one. But it's a nice game. It's kind of an alien.
Chatting horror.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's 3rd edition. That is amazing. It was originally West End Game, and it was for the Master Book series, I think. But this has got a really nice D6 mechanic to it. Absolutely, highly recommend, folks. And it will run Cephas. If you wanted to do a Cephas version, Cephas don't do the Cephas 2D6 system does not have a D6. Hostile comes close, but that is just so much fun. Do you know the film? Oh hell, Cast a Deadly Spell. You know that one?
It rings a bell, but I can't say that I know off the top of my head.
I saw it recently.
Basically.
I liked it quite a lot. The protagonist has died recently, right?
Let me look
I
it
can't
up.
remember.
I didn't know that, mate. That's from Cast a Deadly Spell, really.
I think it wasn't really old, but I think he died recently. Let me check it. So, guy called
Oh, yeah. And
yeah. Well, not that recently. It was last year, but yeah, recently enough.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mad. I didn't know that at all. So, yeah, Cast a Deadly Spell was just cult classic, and
I do know the movie.
I watched it very recently.
Controversial cover, original Nocturne, and it got yelled at because they said, it's dark, I don't like it. And people whinged over this one, apparently, purely because of the cover. They were game shot.
That was before cancel culture, I think. It was even before cancel culture, but
I'm looking for the year this came out, to be honest, because I discovered this. It was just on a website, and I picked it up from a obscure vendor. I can't even remember the name of the store now, but I just saw it and got it one year. 2008.
That cover has only one problem. It's ugly, very ugly.
Yeah, it's not particularly brilliant art. People were really upset by that, and when I looked into the game, oh, it's another edge lord producing another edgy freaking. And I was like, back off. This is a heck of a game. He just cleaned the system up in Cold and Dark. Your version, I think, uses D8s, doesn't it? The same way?
Yeah, it's all D8s, yeah.
Version
Well,
of
I'm not sure if it's all D8s, but yeah, I think it is.
This is like 2D10.
Full of D8s. Oh, okay. Yeah, because
I'm not getting any more books out because I'll be buried. It's annoying. I'm so close to my shelf. I can just.
I know. I'm like, I keep looking back at my shelf. I'm like, what do I got over there? I got quite a few.
I have a file
showcase these. That's by an awesome. You can see those covers are absolutely awesome.
Yeah, Pandemonium.
Just to plug this guy because he's bang on. Have you not heard of these?
I have.
I have them in a PDF, but I never played it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you can get all this, but give him some money because he's great. Raphael Chandler wrote that. And that's the director's guide, which is absolutely phenomenal.
I don't like the cover as well.
It's an awesome cover.
Yeah,
absolutely
that's amazing. Awesome.
Yeah, it's the rest of the art, in parts, but the covers are great, and it's such a system to play, and it uses D12 dice pools, so they just roll endless. So much fun.
Yep. Yeah, that was actually something I brought up I was chatting in Basic Experts stream last night, and they were talking about D&D and whatnot. And one of the things I brought up was that I like dice pools. I like playing systems that have like a point-buy system where you get to roll a lot of dice and stuff. So do my players. Like people I play with here at home all love that. So yeah. So I was just like thinking about that earlier. That I was like, because if I do at some point, like I was even thinking about talking to Miguel about this. I was like, I might even run a Wretched verse game, but with a different system, maybe an old D10 system, or bring up, dice pools and start creating characters that way and playing the game. But I don't know. Now I'm rambling.
That's cool. There's a really cool Wedge D6 in, and I haven't got it on print, unfortunately. Oh hell, called Night something or other. And what I'll do, anything that I forget, I will do my Fear in the Night or something. Lines anyway. It's Wedge D6, the open D6 system.
Mm-hmm.
Who created it? Just found it on Lulu, and you can get that on through really easy. It's I think it's almost free.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. But
that's pretty cool. But if you're looking at dice pools, maybe you could like it, and then you wouldn't have to use D6s necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Époque.
Anyway, weren't we supposed to be promoting our stuff, Miguel?
Yes, we are promoting other people.
I was gonna say. I mean,
this is like the pundit.
My favorites are right here. Like,
thank you.
These are my favorites.
My
right
Wretched
here.
books are a taxi to get my Wretched books. Unfortunately, I can pull horror ones off the shelf, but I've got.
And I can't wait to get my hands on Époque and on. Again, I'm dying. And I know you said it's going to be some time, but I'm dying for a second edition of Wretched Space. I want that so badly.
What do you want in it?
I don't have a plan for releases. I know that the next one will be country.
Well, because I remember you telling me that.
That one really needs a new edition, and it will be the next one.
I've just had a wicked idea for. It's funny you've mentioned that because just tonight with something and it just hit me, and I love ideas like that. They just sort of go, oh, and it clicks, yeah. And this is I think rather freaking cool. Wretched country kung fu.
Wretched Country.
So it's the David Carradine parody series, right? But I'm going to put more supernatural in it and crazy gringo bandits, and I'll probably do it Mario, but we could always attach it to Wretched Country. I don't know how much you've got planned, but thinking of writing something along those lines because it hit me tonight.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to. What I'm going to do is to expand the setting, the city, the town, and change the scenario because that one isn't really good for that. I'll probably use that one that Silvio wrote. I don't know, maybe.
But it ties in with the whole opium den as well. We're actually having some sort of Chinese monk sort of characters. Maybe they've got a dodgy, and that all started.
If you want to include there, it could be a part of because there's a Chinatown there, so that could be as a big part, for example.
Yeah.
You can go for that.
Of course,
where does Wretched Country take place?
The girl with green eyes.
Wretched Country was a little bit strange because it grew out of a scenario that I had written as a horror scenario, and it's in fact it's an horror scenario, which is about a movie. So there's a movie crew that is going to shoot a movie that originally it was a classic Western.
Okay.
Movie crew is Italian, so they changed it into a spaghetti Western. But there's a curse on this movie. They tried to do it several times, but there were always problems. People died and accidents happened, so it never was released, or it was never filmed because it never ended. The shooting was never finished. And now they are in Spain, in how's it called, that desert where they shot the westerns. I can't remember it now. Anyway, there's a place in Spain where they shot lots of westerns, not just spaghetti westerns, but westerns in general. And obviously the curse is still on. So what happens is during the shooting of the movie, the characters, the actors are going to start identifying with the characters gradually until they are stuck in a fictitious town in the West, and then from then on they are supposed to play the characters. The place is a town called I can't remember the name of the town. Well, anyway, it's a fictional town.
Okay.
It's based and inspired by several real places, but it's not actually any of those places. Deadwood and Tombstone. I think it's a mix between Deadwood and Tombstone, but it's not a real place. So it's not supposed to be entirely realistic. It's supposed to have that feeling that spaghetti westerns have. I don't know if you're a spaghetti western fan or not.
I am, so I understand.
Berners, yes, that's it. The Berners Desert, yes.
Okay.
So the place is known by another name. That's the name of the region, and that begins with an A. But yeah, the desert is the Berners.
And when should we be seeing a second edition for this?
Soon. I'll just start that. Well, I'm going to do a layout for Lord Matthias, for one of his. I think actually it's a Western as well. Is the game he published, Midnight Prairies, I think. He did a new version, and we had to talk about that. So I'm going to do that in the next days, and then I'll just start with Wretched Country. Though I'll probably also be doing the layout for Coombs' vampire thing.
Yeah, because that's finished. Done that.
I'll do that
thing?
It's mate, I don't want to spoil it because I've just put stuff into it. It's based around World of Darkness-ish because people were chatting about that, and I was like, yeah, but I'm a little bit more, hopefully a little bit more darker, and hierarchy's a little bit different, and I've just put my own little takes on stuff.
That's
a
cool.
lot of surprises in there, and I don't want to leak so much. I'd let so much on Discord.
And how much? Like
over it anyway.
You said
so
it's finished.
I've completed it all, just about. It's not massive, but it's a setting, and it's
cool.
There's a lot going. It's not gonna. It'll be about 100 pages, but 100 pages you're gonna get a heck of a lot. I've created full of all sorts of little treats.
Well, I definitely look forward to it. Anything that is inspired
a lot of people
by.
are going to be like, "Whoa, this is different. Never expect." I kind of liked the idea of blood being a factor. So it's all about what sort of blood you're feeding on. So like blood types become in your victims. You're farm humans basically. So you've got like shepherds and cattle. It's all run like a. You've also got hunters in there that are based on the. If you've seen the classic John Carpenter's vampires, all based guys, and I've got stuff from Nick in there, kind of. There's characters that sort of mimic that kind of aesthetic, but I haven't gone down certain routes that they go down in that film because I thought, no, once you are a monster, you are a monster. There's no sort of turning back, and you can. Who are like, I really want to be a vampire. And they're like, nah, it's really good, so we're hanging on to you. and they sort of give them little treats. So they're in there as a player character, or you have to. Oh, the plots are just, it's oodling with plots. I could have made it so, but I thought, no, give them the bones and let these guys go to town.
Yeah,
the players and the create, you know. So I've just fed you all sorts of ideas, and it's up to you guys what you do with them. Basically, you might want to change it. Go right ahead. I ain't got issues with that at all. Once you buy an RPG, it's yours. Okay?
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I'm going to prepare next. But the country will be also in the works. That one is made, is ready to. Yours is ready, so it will be probably. It certainly will be first. Layout. So.
I just hope it sells. I just hope any of our stuff sells at the moment.
Yeah, no, you know, now this is very strange.
To say that by this time last year, mate, we were looking at our first freaking pretty much, weren't we?
Well, I think
didn't Wretched Bastard? Oh, was it a year?
Yeah, more than a year. So Époque was a year ago, more or less.
Right. So this time last year, we had freaking bronze, silver sales creeping up. And
yeah, that's what started happening. Yeah, after a few months, we were already at a few silver sellers. Now it's very strange. We sell some things, but usually it's people go there and buy several things at the same time. But sometimes after a week, I've sold 3, 4, 5 items of the latest release. So that's a bit strange. I don't know. Different.
Very.
Very different. Yeah. The only reason that you can keep on doing this is because the story is ours, and even Big Geek for now has no royalties. We don't have to share royalties with them. So in the end, the difference isn't that big. But
yeah, it's great. It's great, you know, because I've got. You're not cancelled. You're not cancelled. Sure as hell feels like it.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit, but that's me whining. But we can't stop because it just annoys people too much.
I agree. You got to keep going. No matter
what. Keep going. We're going to leave such a freaking legacy. Sorry to swear at 6 p.m., but I don't know if that
maybe one day this will pick up again and we'll start selling again. Of course, we are new to this, so it's possible that things will. The fact is that we grew quickly when we were at drive-through, and that's a good sign.
yeah.
That is a
out
good
of
sign.
ra-
That means
I
you
think
were offering people something that obviously
needed.
was missing. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's just a sign. And if you just keep
Yeah,
at it,
we'll probably go down as one of those weird little games eventually, which would be hilarious.
yeah.
That someone like in 5 years will go, oh well.
Yeah, it's possible. Or maybe if some of these stores that are appearing now grows and starts selling more, we'll probably benefit from that. But that's just a possibility, so we don't know what's going to happen.
I've got firmly crossed that by sort of, I don't know, September, I would like to see, a little bit more of people sort of discovering us, but you just never know with this. It's such a weird way.
It really is.
You just don't know. I mean, my online is rubbish, to put it bluntly. Yeah. I get very few. I've got a group that I've got on Facebook, and it's telling me people really don't know. I just put stuff out and ideas out and whatever. Que sera, sera.
Okay. Let's start showing something. So here we are. Today's release. I think you have both looked at this one.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled to even download this one.
Yes, but did you try to download? Today's version is smaller. I was
noticed that, but I've not had a chance to look at it. I've been doing bits and bobs and just crazy. Yeah, a proper day job.
How big it is? Yeah, it's much smaller than the other. It's half the size of the first thing. I was doing these files too large. I don't know why. I forgot. I forgot that it was. It's some options there on when you are exporting the file. So as I was saying about this, it's 346 pages, and there are no rules here. Or well, there are rules here, but not many. There's this chapter here, new rules, where you can find new archetypes, and I took the ones that were already in the first edition, like Consulting Detective. Obviously, the core book doesn't have this archetype. Covert Operative, it could be there, but I don't think it is. And Spy and Daredevil. Also Cocotte and Phantom, which is the Phantom thief in the Gamblers, and well, that's the kind of archetypes that belong in this kind of setting. But there aren't. I think it's about 20 pages of rules, and the rest of it is new setting. Namely, I'm just going to show a little bit of the new things. So there's this. I don't think this was in the first one. This is one of your scenarios, Joe. The expedition.
Yeah, I was going to say I recognize that.
Yeah, this one is. This one was in Wretched. Not a Wretched verse. It's what was it called before?
Oh heck! Oh, I know the one. Shit. That was a little
Deviants and
short
Dirty
one,
Deeds.
wasn't it?
Deviants and Dirty Deeds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 30 days. That's what I was fighting to.
There was small stuff that were there, and one of this was the expedition. It's a small scenario. There's a bigger one that's Soirée d'Ouverture. This one was already in the first edition, or it was added to first edition when I revised it months ago. And then there's a new appendix. This is something new as well. This was
I was loving this.
This was
really good.
This was added. This is a new version of our alignment system. This time is, instead of being sins and virtues, is rationalism versus mysticism.
Yep.
Which belongs here because the characters could be unbelievers, people who don't go for supernatural, or they could be mystics and not necessarily conjurers or just occultists, members of secret societies, something like that.
You put this in the draft you sent me, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because I do remember reading. I think I messaged you about it. So really cool.
Another thing that's new in this one is where is it? This is the factions, because they didn't exist in the fall. They did exist, but it was they were still starting.
It was.
This one was already there. The Vampire of Paris.
Paris, yeah.
But there were factions that were, for example, these ones didn't exist at the time, and now they were added retroactively. The Shambhalans were. These were introduced in darkness, so now they belong here. And other things, this Order Chaos, and so these were things that were added to the Wretched first after, and now they were retrofitted to Époque. And this is something that I think that was missing from here. We have a big chapter about Paris, but not much information about other countries. So now there's a whole section on different countries, and we have a small description about what was going on in the country at the time, because you don't really need to expand too much on that. You can just go to Wikipedia and find information. But then there's a plot hook mentioning historical fact and some characters. There are few countries here. I'm not sure how many pages, about 30 pages of countries. Other things that were added were new characters to the Criminal Masterminds chapter and the Mad Scientist chapter. And now they have portraits. They didn't have portraits in the first edition. This one is a famous one. This one was Joe's creation, and the first character from.
He's picked up on the French of that at all. I'm gonna let something go. That is right rise. His last name is Water Cabbage, and nobody has picked up. But that's where, because I thought I can't call him Jared Water Cabbage. What can I do here? Like, oh, well, let's give him the French name, because I was writing it as Gerald originally, and I was like, no, let's make it French.
Because it sounds more French than Gerald.
Yeah, so Gerard O'Shoe was just perfect. As Ever said, that means water cabbage, but that is.
I wondered where that name came from, but I don't think I've ever asked.
Literally just made, because I wanted to call him Gerald Water Cabbage, and I was like, I can't. Silly. That's just silly. But that's how he was written originally. So before I sent you the document.
What's a water cabbage, by the way? Is that something?
I have no idea.
It could be a cabbage. I don't know.
Like a giant algae or something. Something the manatee would. It's like, no, water hyacinth, I think, is where it came from, which is what manatees eat. Right? And I was like, yeah, that's not very wretched, but a water cabbage sounds kind of weird.
Okay, this is something we can talk about since.
Absolutely.
Since WhelanOkkult, I'm going to call him his alias, was talking about it. So, what do you think I should add to Wretched Space?
Oh, good Lord. What can we add? Well, I've got so many more aliens.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can add so much. You can. Yeah, you
Okay.
can add more races. You can add more.
What I should add.
You can expand a little bit more on the Galactic Federation and their involvement in everything. Like he said, more races, more systems. Because I think I was talking. I don't know who I was talking to. It was either you or Sylvia, but you guys informed me that it takes place very, 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 very far away from where Earth is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like I in my own campaign and coming up with a tie-in between our system, our solar system, and the people over, where Wretched Space takes place. But I would just like to see your take on that. You know what I mean? Like how you guys would connect those dots, especially since this is now becoming like one big, massive, like Wretched verse where all the settings kind of like coexist, in the same space.
Yeah,
or at least most of them, from my understanding.
It will be eventually. So, for example, Wretched Country doesn't have any connection to the other ones still, but it will start having it when I release the second edition. The plan is now to pick up the things that were published before and then to introduce the Wretched verse, because when we published Country, there was no Wretched verse.
Do you want like a Wretched Mars, Wretched Saturn? Really? Because I'm thinking that's I could go through. I mean, Artinga was kind of that. That was like my homage to Saturn. It's just such an amazing planet. But Artinga unfortunately got put on the back burner. And I've given that to a mate in Northampton, and I don't know if he wants it. So I've just got this thing that I created that's just sitting there. It's so frustrating. But I could bring that. That was just so strange. That just brought the Wretched verse completely to all one world. So it was like my homage to Rift's Earth, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just it was more madcaps than that, to be fair. Because it had so much weird stuff. It had elements of Carcosa in there. Mel was in there. Just like I had a whole load of worlds, them all on one world, and like what would happen if. So there's like undergrounds, there's things underwater that people can move. There's areas that people don't even know each other in, because Saturn is massive, isn't it? It's such a huge, giant that you could quite happily trek and not have any idea that there's anyone there.
Correct. Yeah.
So I was working on that principle. So I could revisit that.
What I felt about it, I think that the factions were the thing that I would develop first, but that's just my opinion about it.
One of the other things I was starting to work on for my specific campaign that I'm writing up in terms of space is I'm connecting it heavily to New Flesh, to where I want more technologies in space that are bio augmented, to the very point of there being like bioorganic ships,
Okay, but by the way, sorry to interrupt you, but there's something that can be connected. That guy was playing with us, Manuel, is writing something for orbital decay. So he had the idea that it should be transported to some more years in the future, so not so close, and to have some more details, and then to use the timeline from Wretched New Flesh and expand on that. So maybe the next space could have a timeline that connects it to Wretched New Flesh. So and then there's a connection, even if there are 1,000 years in the process that are. Well, 1,000 years may be too long, but whatever.
But it works, right?
Yeah, so that's probably something else that we can do. Connected to New Flesh by a timeline that could have. We don't have to detail it that much because it will it will be hundreds of years, of course. It
Yeah.
needs. So not really detailed, but a timeline that establishes the connection between the two worlds, the two settings.
I'm just thinking that heck, is it Burger Corp? You know who I mean?
Bergen, yeah. Oh, Burroughs Tech.
If anyone's going to fold space and time, I think it's probably going to be.
I had said the exact same thing, Josh. I found Orbital Decay to be a great setting book to connect both New Flesh and Wretched Space.
So I'm going to delay the publication of the release of Decay in paper because I'm going to add something to it. So
okay,
I'm going to release the PDF in a while, re-release the PDF in a while. Of course, if you bought it, it's yours. It will be yours with some more pages now. I don't know how many pages, but I'm going to have that in mind to start establishing more that connection with space. And then when we get to space, we'll fill in the blanks between the two settings.
I'm already getting ideas. This is the thing.
Well, I'm very. I don't want to.
Once this call's finished, I'm going to start jotting down some seriously. I'm actually thinking, couldn't the corpse all be playing on space exploration and stuff? So you've got they've basically, you could have a space stations and all that sort of stuff they've already built or in the middle of building.
Yeah, that's
I don't
possible.
want to spoil anything for what I'm writing, but just because I know some people are listening, but later on I could tell you, if you guys want, I can tell you exactly how I'm planning to connect it. I don't think, I don't know. I don't think anybody's thought of it so far. So we'll see.
Well, if you want to, you can then. Well, you still have time to do it because you're not going to space right now.
You've got stuff, and I've got stuff, and Miguel's got stuff. I mean, the more people that are adding to the.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So you can send me then what do you have if you want to. You can send me.
Yeah, I'm well up for that. Work with anyone. I don't care. I'm not fussy.
Then it will not be your house rules or house version. It will be the official thing.
Oh, I don't care. I like sharing ideas like this. This is great.
Man.
So
but since you have already thought about it, so I can use it. Why not? That's how we usually.
I just pass everything to in the end. Miguel and Sylvia get all sorts.
Yeah, many things that we have published have been thought about and talked about.
You should see what they've rejected. I've even had stuff rejected. I was like, what? And they, oh, no, maybe not. A whole thing about serial killers just hasn't made it yet. And I'm like, what? Where's that? Yeah, don't you remember that? That was ages ago. I sent you that.
Yeah, well,
it was really dark, and it was very.
You sent me so many things that I think that some of them are lost now.
Yeah, most. Well, I've got the.
Yeah, I know the idea. There was something. Yeah, there was something about serial killers, but at the time, it wasn't really a scenario. It was more like.
It was more of a thesis, almost.
Yeah,
it was weird. It was odd, really odd.
It could be, that's the question here. It could be a Wretched verse actually, but I don't know what I did with it. But I'll look for it again. Oh, you can.
Hang on, I'm just reading that. Is the Wretched officially interconnected?
Yeah, it is officially interconnected somehow. But
tenuously in part.
Yeah, it's tenuous. It's a tenuous connection and it's optional as well.
Well, yeah.
You can use it or not. I mean, if you don't have more than one, you're not going to connect anything.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? Like at each table, like, everybody plays a game however they want to play it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, but there are
and the Beyond doesn't care what you do.
So, for example, the Beyond
anyway, because it's like a child. It's just sitting there, just like, oh, I can do that, and it's the biggest schizophrenic on the planet. That's all the Beyond is.
Yep.
So he doesn't have any rules or it or whatever the hell it is. It identifies it's the beyond. That is its pronoun, if you like.
Like they them.
It doesn't care what it is or what it does. It acts on whimsy. It was just like a big child throwing its toys at, basically, getting frustrated because it wants to become things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Sylvia's hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
We're not good with official. We're not.
The Beyond was the first thing that connected the Wretched verse.
Yep.
And the Beyond appeared in Epoch a
Yeah.
year ago. So that was
I gave birth to it.
the first
It was
bubble gum.
marvelous.
But then came the factions, and right now, that's not just the Beyond. The factions are also a thing that's
Yeah,
kind of
they've been around. Those are like your
a feature. Of course, not all factions exist in all settings, but there's a question. This one is probably, yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Beyond is about.
Yes, indeed.
It's possible.
Yes,
Yeah. Take care. You never know what could happen to your shoe.
Yeah, just
Your leg.
careful, because when you wipe it, it might react.
And then you go to a very different place. Not a good one.
Well, that foot does. The rest of you will stay here. It's just that leg will slowly be disappearing. Oops.
So have you game mastered already, Whelan?
I'm sorry?
Have you game mastered any Wretched
Not yet. The first one I'm going to be doing is Bastards. Because I think the greater campaign that I'm going to be running is going to take me a little while to kind of like put it all together. Whereas with Bastards, I already have ideas to run this, and I can, pick it up and go. So I'll be running that here pretty shortly.
Yeah, Bastards is the one that's more developed already. There's several scenarios for that.
So you're running that as a strict fantasy game elements and
yeah, sort of.
That's cool.
With some twists.
I'd be interested in the twist.
It's going to be fantasy on the surface level. I'll put it that way. But yeah, further in, once stuff starts really, going, the players might find that there's more going on than what just what they see with their eyes.
Yes, absolutely. That's what makes it so much fun. Is you can start what they think in their own heads might not necessarily be what is actually happening, and I've used games and upset players doing that. I chatting about it earlier with Wretched Country, and I made the film within a film with. So they didn't actually know by the end of it what was real and what wasn't, but the actual actors, and they go to a premiere and then zombies came out of the screen from like Demons, first Demons film. Yeah, but they didn't think so because I'd like, oh, it was nuts. They didn't see any of it. So it turned into like a standard. They thought they were playing. Suddenly turned on its head, and it was like the director was just like he'd forgotten that he was even filming at one point, and had told the actors. So then they find out that they're actors because the director's going, cut, no more of this. What are you doing? He just comes in and starts bawling.
Yeah.
And then they had a break, you see, and I was like, right, what am I going to do after? I was like, sod it, I'm going to do it. And I just did this role of the director. Well, which was great for me, but horrible for them. It was a bit cruel. But yeah, they just go with it though, bless them. But surprisingly enough, when I suggest that I've got a Wretched game now, they're a little bit more.
We'll have to play that Bastards.
I would love to play. It's something I haven't done straight Bastards yet at all. I've always put twists on it, and because we've had so much out, it just I just love the idea. I've always been a riffs fan. Everything just gets crammed in, which is why I created Artinga, which blended sorts of things together. But it was its own setting. I hadn't used the Wretched book as such. It was very much its own thing, but it had Wretched in it.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of mixing stuff. At least not very different genres. Just small stuff. Mixing, but not too much.
Whereas I'm just Maverick. But I was a riffs player, and that was, that was a huge. I just don't like the mechanics as much. That's it. So it worked, but it was. I don't know. I think the system I generated was like it's really simple, and I don't think Miguel was too keen because it sort of had narrative mechanics in there that weren't strictly what Wretched is either.
Yeah, no, I'm not so interested anymore. For now, I don't want any more mechanics, I think.
No, I'm leaving that. I just write setting now. That's really apart from my mutant idea, which has mechanics. I'm using like a point buy sort of thing, which you might like because you could have it with die pools. Nice. you could tailor it maybe.
Yeah,
but the point buy system's really quite nice, I thought. But that's up to Miguel whether that seems.
But that's for.
That was for mutants, the mutants that I have still got to finish. But that creation system is pretty nice now. I tweaked it a little bit last night with some extra bits and bobs, but it's all 5, 10, 15, goes up on 5s, and you just buy points. And the more human you, the more expensive it is to buy that human thing. Thought fitted mutants a little bit. Which again, from Palladium. That's basically where I think I've called it. I don't know, some mutant. No, it's not. It's not anything as fancy as that. I've just called it.
You lost sound, man.
Sorry.
You lost sound.
I lost sound.
You can mute
for like a second. You were cutting. You were cutting.
Oh, right. Well, I'm just chatting about the mutant thing and how it's all on point buy, going up in multiples of 5. But I don't know if you guys will publish it or not. But whatever. That's how I thought it would go. The more human you want a character, the more expensive it is.
But you haven't sent that yet, no, right?
I sent it. Oh heck, was it last week or the week before? I passed you and to Strauss, yeah, Straussy as I call him.
Yeah, Strauss is doing his source book for Vigilantes.
Right.
Whether
he wants to put that in there, I don't know. But there will be 100 mutants created.
He didn't mention anything about that. He just sent me some of his stuff that he had already did, and basically a list of NPCs, new superheroes.
Yeah, well, I've got these 100 that will see the light of day at some point. I've got to make them up.
If he doesn't, well, I'm not sure. If he uses it, it's published in. I don't know. What's it called? I don't know the name.
It's entirely up to him, I guess. I don't know who's in charge of what. Because I'm working as well in France on that Chambara.
Yeah, so Strauss is doing a source book and is going to write it. The whole source book is for him to write. I'm not going to write anything for that. Just edit it, change things if I need to fit in the Wretched first, but I'm not going to write anything. Just do the layout.
Well, I'll just keep posting him my mutant things.
Yeah, you can ask him if he's going to use it or not, because he didn't mention it. So I don't know.
can't remember when we last chatted. It was only the other day, but we've had some mad stuff. And I did tell him about it because I said I don't want it to interfere with at all or with anyone else's life.
Oliver said that he was going to use your stuff, I think.
Yeah, I am going to get. I've characters all ready to go. They're in groups as well, and there's like a whole thing. Basically, you all live underground. They're like, there's random reasons generated randomly on them. So it is all based creation, and they are all weird and wonderful. You're going to have some great fun. If yes, it is, Josh. It is. That's exactly what I've done. But I've made it so much more easier to use.
Yeah, Palladium isn't known for...
I'm never, ever going to update their system. Kevin Sembeda is too, rules, do what you want, and it's like, yeah, but convoluted and I'm just trying to streamline all that. So we've got something really nice and concise.
Hey, Raven.
Hello, Raven.
How you doing, Raven?
I haven't seen him lately. I don't think he's doing so much videos now. Or else
I haven't been on Discord it seems like I sort of go on there like once in a while. It's really not my favorite site at all. I just don't get on.
Yeah, I don't like it that much, but it's usually
it's nice hanging out. See, I try to make some notes and then I go back to my typewriter and my cat. Basically, it's like I check it once a month. Sometimes, maybe twice a month, and then there'll be some nice chats about music. So there'll be, I don't know, and then there's someone disgruntled over politics. Yeah, I try and stay out the politics now. I'm so bored of it all.
Yeah, it's getting tiresome.
Oh, you wouldn't believe. God. Especially this month, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also getting worse. It's still not getting.
I'm reading about more and more people getting bored. More than
yeah, that's probably true. But probably in the US. Here, it's still growing.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here.
I agree, Raven.
It just always seems to be it's a very loud vocal mic. It tends to be. It's still moan. And it wouldn't matter what you did, they would But
the problem is corporations have been pampering.
Oh, yeah, they can make money out of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Are they making money? I don't know. Is Disney making money out of those awful movies?
I have no idea at this point.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in sort of the geek culture in a whole. It's like I turn on to I really like Ryan Keneal, and there's some Scottish guys, Nick Beardier, are really cool. And they've had some interesting takes on it. Is it Geek Calls? What's that? Clownfish TV? I'll big that up because that's good fun sometimes.
Clownfish.
Geeky Sparkles, whoever they are. But yeah. I got too much important stuff to do to really care. So it's just I'll post a video up or something and make a snidey comment that's way too seriously. That happens a lot. Mostly Americans.
Yeah, this is happening. Project that never go ahead because...
Yep, I did hear about that.
The crazy people aren't really interested. They just want to virtual signal, but they don't want to buy it, and they don't want to see the shows, they don't want to see the movies. They just want to virtual signal about it. So,
they'll buy a book and put it on their shelves, and I'm pretty sure they've never played. I'm 100% sure. I don't see live streams of thirsty champions. I haven't seen any.
Maybe they did something when the game was released, but that's not. I'm not going to say that's a very popular game. No, of course not.
It's because people, have, you know, oh God, Fred. Well, there's anyway. Won't say what it's Cockney rhyming slam for.
I think in the role playing game sphere, it's a little bit different because the things are small, but very small scale, so you can still go ahead with it. But it feels like there's a pyramid scheme going on, and in the woke side of this, and people have to buy things. So
Completely.
I mean, we
one
saw,
of you guys did the game, so
we saw what happened with Leyline Press, so
yeah,
that was crazy.
Oh, that was silly. That was beyond crazy. That was like I'd never even heard of that company before. But
yeah, neither had I.
Yeah.
What a great way to steer clear of them.
But there are guys that keep showing up, and especially artists that people always have something. There's a Brazilian guy called Daniel Nogueira, I think. He did a dark fantasy game, an OSR dark fantasy game a few years ago. What's it called? Darker something and darker. Dark something and darker, whatever. What's it called? I can't remember it.
And what happened to it?
He's always being hired to design covers for woke games. It feels like if you want to sell, you have to hire this guy. Like this is a mob, and that guy is up there, and you have to buy his illustrations so you can sell. This guy is kind of famous. That game I was mentioning, I was trying to find the name of it.
Dark Blade, Dark Blade, is it?
No, not Dark Blade.
Played by the Apocalypse.
So his publisher is Old Skull Publishing.
I know the name. I do know the name.
Yeah, it's kind of famous. Dark Streets and Darker Secrets. I think this was it's a platinum seller at that place. That place I liked too, that very much. But this is the woke side of USR. Okay, totally a scheme, yeah. Yeah, Evil Hat, they do just bullshit. What was that last game that they released? Girl by Moonlight, yeah.
What the heck is that? Oh my god.
Let me. This is still. I think it's still a backer kit in backer kit. So a game about the tragic struggles and defiant triumph.
No.
A group of magical girls resisting an oppressive society.
Oh god.
Girl by Moonlight explores the heartbreak of denying who you really are, and the transcendent power of relationships and community. They had a 30,000 goal, $30,000, of course, and they are now at 200,000 and something. Not too much by standards, but it's still a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I'm looking for who wrote this or who is going to write this.
Yep, I agree with you, Raven.
Andrew Gillis, I don't know who this is. I have no idea. But it's a pile of shit. Yeah, anything that has safety tools, I won't buy it. I've done
that. I'm just like, no, thank you.
I've done the mistake and I've bought it. We bought. Do you have Vampire Edition?
For me, it was I made the mistake through Monty Cook. And I was just like, yeah, no, never again.
Which was it? I think we talked about it, but I can't remember.
For Monty Cook, they really pushed the safety tools through Numenera.
Yeah, because the safety tools, that book on safety tools is theirs, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That big.
Yeah, I think it was like consent
Consent in
gaming. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, consent in gaming. That was that game. Are you on Facebook? We've lost you though. For
I disappeared for like
yeah.
went dead when we started talking about old school. What's it? How strange.
So consent in gaming created a big fuss on several Facebook groups. I remember that, and actually that's when I started talking to Joe. We were talking in the cult Facebook group.
Oh,
People were there was a big discussion about consent in gaming. They all adopted consent in gaming.
Again, snide comment, made a snide comment, took it way too seriously, and made it out that I was some, I don't know what the word was now, nasty person. Well, I'm not. I just joke, and people they misinterpret or they take things to heart, because it's very hard when you're just reading comments to know the tone that it was written in, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't rest your head. That one was an old one. It's probably one of the first story games.
Don't rest your head was Evil Hat, I think.
Yeah.
It was called Cat.
It was Evil Hat who wrote that one.
Yeah, it was the first one probably a long time ago, even before story games had a name.
Well, Played by the Apocalypse wrote one called Urban Shadows. I don't know if folks know that. That was quite an early one. Because I did my research on all that.
Hold on, I'll be right back. Speaking of all this crazy stuff.
Monster of the Week is also it's a story game, right? Tome of Mysteries, I don't know. Never heard about it.
I got this one a while back. And it was funny because there was some recent controversy with this game.
Oh yeah.
But
the controversy was the author.
Yeah, except at the time when I got this, I hadn't even planned to get it. I was standing at my local game shop, just kind of like going through all the different books and stuff. And I picked this book up, and I was just paging through it, and this guy standing next to me suddenly starts talking to me, and it turned out it was one of the authors of the game.
Oh wow!
So he actually he went up to the store manager and bought the book for me. But it wasn't the guy who recently was talking all that crazy stuff. Who was this? The guy who signed this one was Adam Scott Glancy.
It's not that.
Yeah, no. The other guy was Dennis Detwitter.
That's it.
But yeah, I thought it was very funny that I was like, man, that's a shame. I hate to see like all these games going the way that they're going now.
Well, that's why we keep doing what we're doing.
Yep.
Yes. That's true.
Yes, sir.
While we're doing that, we can do the other. I'm just because I've got something rather special here. This is nice. If we're talking about signed copies, that was very this is the second edition.
Oh, nice.
Of Beyond the Supernatural.
Oh, that's really nice.
I don't know that cover. Is that a special edition?
This is very special. It's all limited and signed and just wow. I don't know if folks are getting all that, but there's all sorts of random marvelousness in there, straight from Palladium's own. And it's even got things from Kevin and Yeah, everyone who's had something to do with it, basically, over the years. And there's just some absolute, I mean, that is just awesome. That's just amazing. And this has been an inspiration.
I never played anything from Palladium.
I played Rifts back in the day.
But that was, my bro got me that. He's a star. Absolute legend for that, because it's a beauty. Absolute beauty.
I never seen any of those books, actually. You know, that's
the original stuff.
Very popular games, not.
Oh God, I've got a whole. It's not a massive collection, but there's like about 20 or 30 Rift books in within Palladium.
20 or 30 is not
I know, right?
Going.
I was gonna say, like, I could never keep up with all the books they put out. I was like, oh my.
You could have hundreds. Honestly, you would
Yeah.
have shelves full of Palladium if you were to buy the lot.
Yep.
But all
Well,
the mutant stuff's there, and
I think one of these days, Wretched will be like that.
that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
We're
that'd
just-
be awesome.
The only difference is ours are smaller, so that
Well,
Yep.
yeah,
that's so
the
it's
joy of
easier.
it. A lot easier. Portable. I think I must have 40 Wretched books. Just under.
Yeah, I think that's there are 50. I think
They're out now, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I'm counting the Wretched verses, which probably I shouldn't count them. So
Oh, right, fair enough.
they aren't actually books.
Oh, well, yeah, but we're talking about doing.
No, but there are probably more than if I count those, probably more than 50. Let me check here. Yeah, we have 64 entries in our store.
Wow,
That's scary, isn't it? Really?
that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think there's
I don't
any
know
other
how
company.
I'm
doing
alive. I should have died.
Seriously, I think that is unprecedented in just over a year. I
Yeah.
can't think of anyone who's put out as much as.
I was
these
gonna
guys.
say, I keep
I'm
saying
applauding for it.
it is insane to me how often you guys put out books. Like, I'm like, are you a machine? Like, what is happening? How are you able to put so many books out in such a short amount of time?
Yeah.
I have no job. That's how. It's part of the reason I am able to write and write and write, and he's able to reject, and he got into editing, and he doesn't hang about. And I'm like, guys, have you whatever. It is just the ultimate grindhouse homage. Misprints now to us are like when the fucking film runs out and they forgot to change the reels and shit. That's all a misprint is, It takes the whole 70s, 80s aesthetic of movie production to your gaming table.
If someday someone is going to say that I'm the Jesus Franco of role playing games, I will.
Yeah,
I will that. I will keep that. I will write that as my epitaph. I was the Jesus Franco.
mate, you've got a legacy going. I'm telling you now.
Mm-hmm.
You really have. And I'm just honoured that you put up with me. Cheers for that.
That's how this works. You have to. Yeah, of course. I couldn't do this alone, obviously.
And it's great that other people are contributing, and that's what we want. Because I loved Index Card RPG. You see, I loved how they had a shield wall and all the rest of it. And we've just got a wretched hole. It's like a really
video or something like that.
Yes, and 90s direct. Yeah, completely. That's about all I'm good for. There's no way I'd ever want to be a mainstream game. I won't want to work in a company. It restricts my creativity. Screw that. Sorry, but no way. I don't want to be hindered.
I know how you feel
by these guys, because it's like, wow, they actually don't. Have I written something too offensive? Is it too horrible, or is it just badly written? Or I don't know. I think it's because they get saturated with emails from me at one point. This time last year, there was heaps. There was just so much. I've got another bit. Here you go. And in the end, it appears. There's probably stuff still to come that he'll find. I don't know. But I started doing it on a group called Barholes.
Oh yeah.
which is where I started honing ideas for this. All those alien races were originally on there.
Yeah, you had already lots of stuff written.
So I already had things.
Lots of
It's not
content.
like I've started, I'm not just hacking
Well, you
things.
can start thinking about new races because we need more.
Mate, I can do you some more races. It's not a problem.
Yeah, probably that there were some that were left out of it.
And there's really weird stuff. I started getting really strange as well with things that could like grow appendages and stuff. You don't know. All sorts of strange things. Impregnation got mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
It's sort of going full on Yorotsuki Doji, if anyone knows those.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that in some circles, and I'll just get you from like as if you still talk about that. Yes, I do.
I have not seen those movies in a long time.
Oh, they're dreadful, but they're great.
They're amazing.
Just the opening sequences alone just make you like, whoa.
Yep. I keep telling Miguel he needs to watch Wicked City.
Absolutely, yeah.
To me, that's like Wretched Darkness. Like at the core.
Is that the movie or the TV show?
It's a movie.
It is a movie, that one. It's early 90s manga.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best era, and I still swear.
I agree. I agree. 100%.
I'll try watching Raven.
Oh, Wicked City is awesome.
Yeah, I love that movie.
So expensive,
when I first started reading Wretched Darkness, that's the first movie that came to mind. I was like, wow.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I'll have to watch it because it has nothing to do with that. Well, maybe that. Well, actually, that reminds me something. Let me check it. I think there's a chapter in this book called Wicked City. So maybe that's why there are things in common. What? Oh, I didn't know. I'm pretty sure that there's something here called Wicked City.
I mean, come on, that whole scene in the hotel room is oh no.
Okay, I'm going to watch it today.
You should.
I'll do a pause on watching bad movies.
It is pretty.
I watched Star Wars. The Force Awakens. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, that's episode 7. Yeah.
I fell asleep during the movie. I can't remember most of it. I know it started like Star Wars. There was a droid, and the droid.
Yes, Raven, you're absolutely correct. Yes.
I missed that. I was trying to remember Star Wars. Raven
just said in chat.
What they said?
Yes, that.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He's talking in reference to Wicked City.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's the scene?
Like he's just chatting
about. You'll find out. You'll find out.
But there's so many cool bits.
Perhaps Wicked City took inspiration from things that we also did, or things that we took inspiration from were inspired by Wicked City. I don't know. How old is that movie?
Subconsciously, I didn't consciously because we all worked highest. Because at the time, Darkness was I saw it as a magnum opus, and we all worked on it. Quite tentatively, and there was a lot of discussions over things, and probably, but 90s manga in general has an influence on me, and I'll tell you what the other one is, the Body Hammer trilogy. If anyone's watched those, it was a guy.
Okay.
Body Hammer.
Maybe. Is it possible that Cult was inspired by Wicked City?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, possibly. I'm trying to think.
Scenarios for Cult. Not necessarily the core book, but something.
Well, it's like 94, 95, isn't it? So I think a lot of 90s stuff.
The movie
inspired. It's like it's that era. It's come out of that era.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely came out around the same time. But I feel like Cult has a slightly different feel to it.
Well, the prophecy, yeah, it's that definitely was something that we thought about.
Yeah.
The angels are from there.
Yeah, and you see Hellraiser and Wicked City's got parallels, and Hellraiser, Barker is a massive influence on all three of us. I mean, we
Yeah, Hellraiser is from the same time as well, but I don't know, maybe. I don't know if
Candyman and all that sort of. God, it was a great era. What a great time to be growing up in, really.
Yep, I agree.
When I think back to it, I was pretty lucky, really.
Actually, the same year.
Which is why I fell in love with the games that I fell in love with at the time. You know, like
Hellraiser came out in the same year that Wicked City. Yeah, those were the years where you can look at it and find, hey, there's excellent movies, great movies, bad movies that were also good movies. Nowadays, you look at so what was released this year? Shit, boring shit.
Nothing.
I'm trying to think of
nothing memorable.
Nothing. No. You see, I was watching. I actually enjoyed John Wick 4, and then I'm part of a group called VHS Grindhouse Stuff, and there's a watch party group that's formed off the back of that. And they streamed Fast and Furious 10, I think it was. And I was sat watching that. God, why? I don't know. But I
never watched Fast and Furious, I think.
Yeah, well, but if you watch that and then watch John Wick and then watch James Bond, you could think you were watching the same bloody film, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I love the John Wick movies. I really do. For modern movies, I actually like them. But
they're the best thing to come out.
Correct. But even those movies, like, I don't know, there's just something about the movies we grew up with that just really left an impact, you know, and I haven't felt anything like that since then, you know, especially with modern filmmaking.
The Crow is another one
it's getting worse.
It is.
There were good movies in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, but maybe not memorable, but they were good enough, so I would see them, watch them a couple of times. Right now, I won't watch them once. I don't care. Oh, there's a new Star Wars movie. Don't care. Don't care. Not going to watch it.
It's such a shame.
Oh, that would be good. One more collaboration would be nice.
Yeah, and more the merrier. Honestly, I am not fussy. If people want to send things to me, please.
Well, I'm currently working on. I created 2 archetypes for Bastard, and I might be creating a few new races for it. I don't know yet. Depends on what I plan to do with that. And then, like I said, you know, this campaign I'm currently writing is going to involve at least, if I'm counting correctly, 5, 6 of the settings that you guys have. So, but yeah, I love this game. I love what you guys have done. So, you know, anything I can help out with, I'm definitely there for it.
Just create.
If you are doing that, I think it will be helpful in the future, because now we are doing the second edition, so it's making it more like a Wretched verse in the second edition is an objective that we want to. It's a goal for us.
Are we what? We're gonna have canon?
Not actually. It's something like that.
Okay.
At least more references from the other.
That would be fun. Yeah, I kind of like that there's like tie-ins and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's
the thing is, even if something is canon, with the Beyond, it could just go nah. Because it doesn't know what it's doing. It's just
when I said I don't want to have a meta plot or something like that. Just references to other stuff. You are in space, and you can have references to other games before and the new Flash.
Yeah, I mean, space has the opportunity to go full on weird holodeck episode.
Yeah, well, that space could have references to all the other ones before, because it's the future. So everything has already happened. Well, not everything has happened, but everything before has happened, and includes all games.
And I love the idea of medieval planets, different tech levels.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same here.
You know, where you could just crash land and suddenly that great big laser cannon's just a little bit dodgy because the atmosphere's a little bit, so you have to downgrade, you know, or it's doing less damage or not traveling as far. So you just limit it.
So if we have child already there with Epic, right?
You see, I can't afford those books. The bloody shipping prices.
I know. I want them so bad, but oh my lord!
Oh god! I keep asking Derek to bang them on Amazon, but he's just not having it. So she's fair enough. I mean, they are beautiful things, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, they are expensive.
But it's shipping price.
Well, not actually the game, but the shipping cost is pretty.
Yeah.
Expensive, yeah.
If I get this new job, fingers crossed, if that looks like it's happening and they can give me what I want, because I've already demanded. God, who applies for a job with a list of demands? Me. But yeah, I've sort of said I need 40 hours a week. At least for it to be worthwhile, otherwise I'm not going to take the job. So if I can't get that, I'm not taking it. But 40 hours has to be. Yeah, that's an influence indeed. And Starship Troopers and all that kind of thing is in. I mean, the possibilities are just endless. I haven't gone down the route of big monster bugs as such, but it's just, you know, we've got kind of things that mimic that. And it's like, I just sort of imagine those crawling around the Beyond sort of state of nuttiness. They're probably part of its brain or something.
Yeah, maybe a bestiary will be something that you can do in the future, perhaps.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was telling you how I was thinking about writing up an entire book of just magic rituals that, you know, you use in the game. Like a tome of magic. And I was gonna.
If you are working, if you want to start working on magic, I think that we could, for darkness, when eventually we get there, revise the magic system again, specifically for darkness, and to make it even more. I don't know how to say it. Closer to real occult, I think.
Okay.
Perhaps that would. Or not necessarily. I mean, it doesn't have to be really like, for example, like Pandit's book that is inspired by real occult. Not necessarily inspired by real occult, but closer to that, to how they do it, right?
Okay.
Just closer. Yeah. That's what I mean. The less it sounds like D&D magic, the better.
Oh yeah, of course.
It doesn't
anymore. That whole fire and forget thing is silly anyway. I've never liked that sort of method. I think it just doesn't sit. Why would a wizard suddenly forget a spell? You know, it's.
Well, I mean, not just that, but to me, I mean, this is not me putting D&D down or anything like that. I like D&D just as much as the next guy, but to me, the magic in that game has always seemed a bit flashy, you know, a little too fantastical. And that's definitely not what I have in mind. I mean, this is Wretched. I imagine it being as dark as possible, you know? So, and especially, you know, if we incorporate like the Apostles of Pain, all of that, stuff from the Beyond, it'll be so far from anything that, you know, that resembles D&D magic.
Yeah, already rituals, but they still are. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
they aren't detailed. I think
again. I grew up playing Cult, you know, so I'm gonna want a lot of stuff like that.
I think what's missing from darkness right now to the magic is make it a little bit more freeform, perhaps, and to describe more the rituals themselves, because there's not an actual description. And Cult did that, but not in the rule book. There was a
Right.
book that was almost irreadable. I don't know if you had those, the Conjurer's Guides. They were very hard.
I don't remember if I had those. I don't think I did.
Yeah,
I
they
had
were.
very few source books for Cult, to be honest, because I was having all sorts into it.
The Conjurer's Guides were for second edition, and basically they are a list of rituals. They have something more, but mostly that's it. And they have descriptions of the rituals. So I don't know if they are inspired by true real magic or not. They sound like they are. They probably are.
To be fair, I was playing at the time. I was playing more World of Darkness than I was Cult anyway. To be fair,
Yeah.
and that is very
maybe Witchcraft is probably
Mage Ascension, Mage the Awakening.
Yeah,
They're
Mage.
they have all sorts of little crazy ideas. That's like, oh, that's
Yeah, Mage
nice.
has some really great concepts when it comes
Yeah.
to magic. But even then, like I still think Mage is too lighthearted.
Ravens-
Too lighthearted. In terms of what I'm thinking about for Wretched, you know.
What about Witchcraft? Is also too
Well, Witchcraft. I mean, I have to try and find another copy of it. I haven't had that book in years.
It still
but,
exists in PDF.
It does. I picked one
I'm
up
sure it
there.
does.
I'm looking for it. I'll have it. It's somewhere.
Doesn't like PDFs, right?
There it is. There it is. That's the first.
Yep, that's the one.
That's
Man, I
the
haven't seen
first
that book.
edition.
I haven't seen that book in
PDF is
years.
clear.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, this is nice. It is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking to see some of the magical. Oh yeah, it's got the shaman in it and stuff. This, you see, this is probably an influence, to be fair, on sort of where we were.
Oh, definitely.
Just looking for all the spells. Where's all?
Yeah, I miss having some of the books that I used to have. I hate that I lost some of them.
Yeah, basically you're channeling yourself into your magic, which is
difficult when they are using PDFs that are already published by someone. They have specifics that are a bit difficult, but you can try.
It's basically a magic point system that you're like channeling yourself.
Yeah, I think Sylvia is going to do something about that. Oh, another thing that we should do as well is develop that other city. We have already Emmettville, but we should do something with Sandcove. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, we talked about that. That
yeah,
is.
Sandcove should be developed into something like more grindhouse, more like.
Yeah. Well, I was going to do it, but it was more sort of police sort of procedure.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's what the serial killer game became, Sand Cove, really. It was like a revision of that. And I was watching heaps of Miami Vice at the time, so I was literally riffing off that. But yeah, to bang magic and things in there, make it more supernatural, brilliant.
Oh,
well
okay.
up for that. Yeah, well up for that.
Didn't know that. Okay, then if it's possible to do it, it's a different thing.
Yeah, I think taking sort of, I don't know, Sandcove by night.
Well, that's a possibility. Yeah, you could have I don't know, supernatural to it.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, quite easily.
Expand on the city because it's just a small description. Expand a bit on the city and then add some supernatural to it.
That could be actually where that weird little dimension that I initially started for darkness is that. I don't know if you've put that in somewhere though in Wretched Verses possibly.
There was a Wretched verse about something, yes, but I don't know if it's what you're talking about.
Oh, right. Well, it was like an area of sort of New Mexico almost that's completely sort of in a shadow world. And it's like
No,
the
I think so.
demons.
I think it's there, but it's not very developed. I think.
It was like sort of Area 51 had gone sort of dark and strange, and there was a lot of weird shit coming out of it, portals opening and stuff.
Okay, so you have another idea here. Wretched Darkness meets Vigilantes.
Yeah, that's another good one. Then you could do like Doctor Stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way,
See you, Raven.
Take it easy, Raven.
Good chatting. Send some stuff if you pick that. Get some stuff over. Let's have a squiz. Chew the fat and all that.
Raven also had a great idea, but I'm not sure if he's still going to go ahead with it. But that was the women in jail thing. He started writing.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. Well, that kind weird. You've mentioned that because that's sort of in vampires a little bit. They have all these places that they sort of hospitals. They get jobs basically, but they pick jobs close to the cattle, which is how they refer to the humans. So there's.
I think I'll pick that up the beginning of next week, probably.
There's all sorts in there. But that would be really interesting to do, the whole jail exploitation. What was it called? It had a freaking, I can't remember what they called those movies, but there was a whole spate in the 80s.
What, women in jail?
Women in jail films, yeah. It was like a whole genre.
Yeah, there were many. Yeah, there were many. We've watched a few of them. Actually, Jesus Franco has a couple of them. And who else? There's one of those. What's it called? That I can't remember her name. That Nazi thing.
It's not Cynthia Rothrock, is it? Because I bet she's done at least 3 or 4. But there is a Nazi.
Ilsa the SS, the something the SS. I think there's a women in jail movie with her, with the actress from that time, but I can't remember the name of the woman. I don't know. She's not famous, really.
I've watched a lot of Cynthia Rothrock stuff, and that sort of she was like blonde and tough. I think she was blondish, or did she have dark hair? I can't remember. They all meld into one when you watch trash like that. It really does. There's someone bigging up something on the Grindhouse group, and I was like, "Is that so and so?" And I was like, "No, you've got the wrong director completely." I was like,
"Yeah, this is it all looks like the same thing."
But it really is. It's like you look at they'll post all these pictures up, and I'm like, well, that's like any other girl in the 80s.
I'm going to paste it here. Ilsa the Wicked Warden. Actually, it's an Ilsa movie because there are several. So there's Ilsa the Wicked Warden, Ilsa the Tigress of Siberia, and Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS.
She-Wolf of the SS. Yeah.
She-Wolf of the SS is the famous one. The others,
I think is on Amazon Prime at the moment.
There's also Ilsa Harem Keeper of the Oil Chicks. So she was like the Barbie of exploitation movies.
She's probably in the Grindhouse group as well. You guys should join that because it's a lot of fun. And they're not very PC at all, to be fair. They'll kick people out for crying over boobs. And they're they do. They cry over boobs, some people. And they get kicked, which is really funny.
Boobs are like the best thing ever.
On Facebook, I think it's because they don't care. They just post films all day, really, and chat films and actresses, and everyone on there is quite like-minded. And I've tried to get them into Richard as well. I've plugged our books on there, bless them. because I'm friends with one of the admin as well. She puts on watch parties, and she does this Gaslands thing where she like races cars, and it's like Mad Max. I've forgotten what the hell it's called. Wasteland, I think it's called. And she attends these rallies. She's got a huge truck.
You talked about
Dawn. She's the admin, one of the admin on the Grindhouse group.
you had some photos of the vehicle.
Yeah, I did. I was trying to get you guys to have her on the show when Apocalypse came out, but I don't know if it ever happened. I don't think you did get her on.
She never replied. I sent her a message.
Oh, you sent her some. Oh, fair enough. Maybe she changed her mind, but she's really cool. We've chatted quite a bit, and she does work as well. She's like, I'm not actually sure if she hasn't got 2 or 3 jobs, because she's pulled one in actually with Wastelands now. So she's attending that festival as a employee, which is great. Buzzing for her on that, because she loves that. She spent so much money on this truck that it's just crazy. Yeah. It guzzles cash.
That must be an expensive.
Oh, it's crazy, but it looks so much fun.
You have to spend your money in something.
I think it's. I don't know. I don't know how much she spent on this thing, but it's
probably more expensive than role-playing games, I bet.
Oh yeah, definitely. But they all have such amazing times. Her Facebook page is just full of photos of the Wasteland stuff, and it's ace. So cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to play with big cars all day?
I know, right?
You know, and weapons that work. They actually fire broom handles and things like that, and they tear around the desert chasing each other.
But they do the things themselves, I guess.
Right? They make everything is homemade, pretty much. The costumes, the cars, everything is modded, and it's.
That's something that I couldn't do.
I just couldn't afford to do it, even if I could. But I wouldn't know where to start.
I wouldn't. I couldn't afford it. But even if I could afford it, I could do it myself. I'm not good with that thing, with those
engineerings and stuff. No, it's soldering and it's hard graft. It really is to get the stuff going. And she's broken down in the middle of the night coming back from it and stuff, where she's had to ring people to get the truck going again, and that just sounds scary to me, to be honest. But yeah, the joys of living out in the desert, I guess.
She lives in the desert?
Pretty much. Colorado is pretty much desert. She's like half Cherokee as well. She's like a wild woman, from what I can tell. We've only had like Facebook combos, but she's so much fun. She just comes across really genuine, and since doing this Wastelands thing, it was just weird that she was doing that as I was writing the Apocalypse game. So I was just like, give me all your pictures, show me, you know. And started following her a lot more when she was doing the festivals, because it was just so cool to see all these vehicles that they've built.
Yeah, it sounds like
it's Mad Max for real.
Yeah. Actually, I was never a big fan of Mad Max.
Oh, fair enough.
I like it, but just that. Well, that's it.
So I remember Dark Future coming out. And that was like that inspired Apocalypse a little bit in places. Some of the stuff, but I wanted that to be more realistic than sort of the Gonzo type thing of Gamma World, and that it was a lot more like Stalker.
Yeah, I think it's, and if or when we do a second edition, I think we could delve deeper into the Stalker side of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having a setting, really, because that's just a toolkit, but maybe having a setting, and a setting that looks more like, or perhaps having two different settings. One like Stalker, and something like more like Fallout, probably.
Yeah. It's more of a sort of a realistic apocalypse rather than
Yeah, one realistic, another just in a different one. So two different settings. One realistic and another one more crazy. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
that's an
Because I
idea.
know people do like the Gonzo stuff as well.
Yeah, so you can choose what you prefer. You have one, you have another,
And
or
we
maybe.
should bring horror into it as well. It had sort of, I mean, there's possibilities for that.
But I
And
leave that.
again, turning your planets in space, if you're doing Wretched Space, landing in an apocalyptic war zone. Thank you, Jacketh.
That's Eric.
Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ah, mate, Eric.
Yeah, Eric is Jack the 71 here.
I've never realised that at all. I thought
I
it was
realized, but yeah, and sometimes forget, because it doesn't sound like.
It doesn't sound like Eric at all. I would never have guessed
No,
that.
no. Jack the 71 and Eric, no, really, it's not. I am insane. Yeah, I am. Of course I am. I don't know where this comes from, but yeah, that's true. I am insane.
I really don't know anyone by their handles at all. I'm useless. But I don't spend that much time on Discord.
Well, some people here use, for example, Raven has the same handle and the same icon, so it's easy to identify him. But yeah, there are some people that the worst is the people that have different handles in different places.
I know.
Oh, mine is so
Something on
easy.
Twitter and something in Facebook and whatever else.
Yep, that's why I keep mine the same. Mine's consistent.
Yeah, it's easier like that.
I do sort of like variations, but people know it's me. I know they will. If they're reading my stuff, if they're that bothered, they'll find me. You know, I get around.
Yeah, that's easy.
I am a troll, basically. I'll freely. Oh, you're a troll. Yeah, but I'm quite a bright one, and I won't take shit off folk, and I give as good as I get. Basically, I treat people as I'm treated. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
Yeah.
I give everyone a chance, but I will start taking. I just do naturally take the proverbial, and then can't handle it. But I still need to know who wrote Men. That is just amazing. Because people think it was me, and I can't take credit for it because it really wasn't. I didn't.
No, it's true. You didn't.
I really didn't, and I'm gutted that I didn't. To be honest.
Yeah, I would like to have written as well. Actually, obviously I would like to have written it. I was banned from drive-thru because of Men. At least.
Yeah.
But no, I was banned by something someone else did. So I can't even take the credit for that ban. It's life.
It is. But I would have put my name to it as well. That's the thing. That's how crazy I am. I would have linked it, you know.
Well, we could have done that, but we didn't.
I would have happily done it. I wrote Wretched Men, for God's sake, and it's just sat there. You won't touch it.
Oh no!
Like, I don't written, as soon as Men came out, I wrote Wretched Men, and that's even more stupider than Men.
I don't want to mix the two things together.
No, well, there's some things men should stay away from.
Yeah. But no. After all that, I was kind of. I didn't want people to think about us as the guys who published Men. So the less is.
There's the cat.
Oh, cat. Hello, cat.
He's not a big camera fan, I don't think.
They never are.
Only when you don't want them to be.
Are always looking around.
I was going to say only when you don't want them to be, exactly.
Yeah. Mines keep coming here, but then they never show up on camera.
No, I've been looking in the background to see if I can see the kittens or anything, but I'm guessing it's a bit hot still where you guys
They
are.
have been around, but now they are sleeping. There's one sleeping on top of the computer because it's hot. It's warm there, up there.
No, Jack's mooching about looking for somewhere cool at the moment. Bless him. He's just come in, I think.
Oh, he wants a cool place.
He wants a cool place, and he's just sat on the tiles. Bless him. We've got these wooden tiles on the floor, and he absolutely loves that. So he'll probably sit there. Bless him. Because he's so warm for him, and he's a black cat as well, so he just soaks up the heat. And he goes, "Ginger, don't you, mate?" He gets like a suntan. It's quite funny in the summer. Gets these gingery bits.
Well, here almost for 2 hours, so I think it's...
Yeah, I think it's been chatted about cats, chatted about space, name dropped Apocalypse, plugged Époque.
Okay, so there's lots of ideas coming from here now.
There's get them over to.
I'm excited. I love this game. I love this universe.
Well, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, really. So thanks for the support, even now that we're not selling tons, but it still matters. And it's obviously what is annoying is we're not selling and more people are creating, which is, but I would, whatever. As long as there are people,
there's actually now I think it would be, it might have been a very good time if we were at the retro. Vigilantes is a superhero game. It's a popular thing.
How was that done as a seller?
Not much.
Okay.
It's 12 copies maybe.
Really?
So that's not much, but
that's about nearly everybody on the Discord chat.
Yeah, but some people in the Discord chat don't even buy stuff, so that's
okay.
Some people don't.
We're working on it. We're working on it. I am hopeful that it'll pick up.
I
mean, just today we got somebody on Twitter that said he bought a book. So
yeah, it's still possible that more people will find out about things, and there's also the possibility that some people will find out about it and talk about it, because that's the most important thing about this is if someone like you, for example, that you found out about it and now you are doing advertisement for us, and that's the best thing that we can find. That's how things sell. That's not. If I talk about stuff, people don't care. He wrote the book, he published it. It's his, so it's not the publicity I can do. It doesn't work. But when it's other people talking about stuff, so let's wait.
Yeah,
it's a matter of time.
It is like being back at square one again, isn't it? I mean, you said that yourself. Yeah, it's like we're back where we started. We can't rest on laurels.
Maybe not exactly where we started, but to the beginning.
In terms of sales.
Yeah, it was maybe after a couple of months, 3 months, 4 months, maybe. Because
I'm interested to see where we are in September this year.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the 9th or something. I don't know. It could be a numbers thing, but it's I don't know. I think that would be a really interesting turning point. And then again, possibly like January after Christmas.
Yeah, after that time. Yeah,
that might be interesting.
Yeah, it was.
That'd be great. Get everyone into it for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Season of goodwill.
That would be a good time, maybe, for a bundle. I know somebody brought that up earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to do the bundles right now. Well, right now, not right now, but in the next days.
And I still think a compendium of verses, like after I don't know what issue we're on. 11? Are we on 10 or 11?
Yes, I think you're on 10. I think.
Yeah,
the latest 10. I think.
Maybe after 20 issues, look at maybe linking some stuff up, possibly.
Yeah, I think that some of the stuff could be joined together,
and then doing that as a book.
And other stuff will probably be included in books.
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Sort of just banging things in there and maybe extending them. If you wanted things extending, always give us
There's also a possibility. Yes.
If it's
something
a
just the first one,
table, I'll make it double it, D20.
Yeah.
I've even got D100 tables because I just love my.
This is something else. I was wrapping up, but this is something that I agree with him. I agree with Eric. Legions of Darkness. I don't know if you know this one. I really like this one, and it was a book about several stuff, factions and creatures and strange gods.
Right, so it's like a sort of compendium miscellany.
Several things.
No, I can't say it, but I know what you mean.
It developed on the mythology of the game, but then there were some other things that were associated to it, like churches and cults and factions that were neither, and then some kind of entity. We could call it entities. In cult, they weren't called entities; they were called something gods, forgotten gods, or something like that. But for us, it would be entities from the beyond. So yeah, you could. I can really see something like that being done.
See, I've still got all that demon stuff stashed.
Yeah, all this. Yeah, plot seeds and.
Oh, mate. There's still so much that I've not even tapped into and sort of visited and added. The list is endless, really. But if more people are wanting things, there's no point creating stuff people don't want. It is what.
Yeah, that's true, but sometimes I don't really know what people want. So there are things that I think people want, but then we have to try it.
They should get in touch. They should tell us.
They should get in touch. Yeah. Oh, sometimes
we get more merrier. Even if it's just like for a powwow. I know I've had conversations where it's just been like, right, let's just have a brainstorm, and that's
lately we haven't been doing live streams, but usually during the live streams people have leave their opinions and do this or do that. So.
Yeah, I try and go back and watch those and look for the comments rather than what you guys are talking about. You just never know.
Example, Eric usually shows up and.
Yeah, I try to check Discord more than I'm actually on it. So I go over there and it's like, right, what have they been discussing? What can I, let's tap into some stuff.
Several ideas there. Some of them were turned into books already.
I know that vampires thing had always germed its way. That was like an earworm in a way. But I don't know what people are going to make of that. We'll see.
Yeah, well, Eric has also found some ideas here.
Yeah, it's cool. The streams are great. We've got to keep. Yeah, I mean, you guys are getting out there a little bit more as well, which is nice.
Yeah, the streams we haven't done much because Sylvia's more occupied with her day job, so there's no chance to do. But maybe we can do sometimes to stream the game sessions, perhaps.
Yeah, there's that. But it's like getting on interviews and stuff. You guys were doing that, doing a little bit more.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we can't do that so much right now because there's no. It's always difficult with some people to schedule things.
Yeah, well,
in the US sometimes it's difficult and yeah. Well,
but this was fun too because I like that we were able to sit together and brainstorm.
Yeah.
On ideas.
And brainstorming, having the stream online.
Yeah.
People can come and say something about what we are talking about. So it turns out to be.
The streams are really, really good, and I do my best
to do this more times because I don't do it more often because Sylvia can, but I can, so we can do it once in a while.
Well, I'd be well up just for having it wouldn't have to be streamed necessarily, just like banging together, doing a bit more of that.
be streamed. Yeah, that's true. Well, in that way you can show up on Discord sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, well,
I'll do
Discord
my
has.
best, even if I'm not there. I'm sort of I haunt Discord, I think, rather than frequent it. Whereas,
Okay, so let's wrap it up.
yeah, cool. We've done 2 hours, so that's been real. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Yeah, we've not chatted before, so that was nice. Not like this. So.
Nope.
Yeah, cool.
It's been great.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys, for showing up, and you on the comments as well, of course. And
thanks, Raven and Eric, and just the usual crew. It's nice to see the usual. It's the wretched crew in the house, y'all.
Okay, bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.